Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Just a few remarks before we begin. There are more spaces in this room than there are people. And there are more beings in this room at any given moment than any one of us can see from any given space. Nobody can see everything. Nobody can hear everything. Nobody can feel everything. Nobody can know everything. It's always going to be a partial view. That said, please do feel free to move around. You are welcome upstairs or downstairs, standing, sitting, or lying on the floor, tapping your toes or swaying with the breeze. As attention follows movement, let movement follow attention. If you need to take a break, to get some fresh air, use the restroom, call your lover, mother, or brother, please feel free to go and come back as you need. All of us together are a lot of moving parts. This includes you. Welcome.
For sale, pink house. Appraiser reports. I was pretty shocked when I went there. I had never experienced anything like that before. People were well, life was lived, side by side in tune. Coexistence. Themselves with each other, but also in relation to the inhuman members of their situation. Was attainable with no fumes of compromise or lack of personal dissatisfaction. The most surprising was the absence of depression and suicide. It comes with a line of gold etched into the pavement, a shiny, sticky surface the sun touches. When touched with just the right amount of lumens, the surface opens itself to reveal a large key. It looks more like a toy key than a key. But it opens a door to a pink house with a blue room which houses thoughts. But not thoughts as words, thoughts as in feelings, like different ways of being pinched on the skin.
Classifieds. Wanted. An old beat-down and cozy couch I can rest in. I want its folds and contours to still have it. Maybe it might even seem stylish. It needs some spring, some structure, and some swerve. So when someone passes by with a silver tray of caviar and champagne, the couch does not question its being there.
Excavated literature and poetry, chunks of pieces flowing down into deeper darkness where people have never been, every chunk a maintenance service, a religious belief. It's a whispering war on a transport highway through a hole, but it's not clear if the hole is light or dark, or if there even is a hole. But beyond that hole is where it all begins, where it's warmish pink, like if you close your eyes on a sunny day.
Horny horrors. My middle name is Attention, my first name Conflict, and my last name Jealousy. I flow through all that lives and all that breathes. I am drama liquefied. When your friend flirts with that person you've liked for a long time, I'm there. When that lazy motherfucker gets promoted, I'm there. Self-doubt is my breakfast. Worry is my lunch, and anger my dinner. I am that fucker. I am inside that fucker and in all fucking fuckers.
Breaking news, genetically modified fish in ecology experiment. A pool of orange and yellow holographic carps were found imported from Osaka with barcode-painted tails. Delcre's Joazimi teams of algorithmists are still working out the exact genetic composition and choreography for habital optimization.
Weather. Monday, 4th of November. A puddle. A thin puddle is not worried about being exactly what it is. And being just itself will start to give it depth until it becomes an enormous lake with stones on the bottom. And then one can start to notice some very fine things.
Breaking news, dumpster protest. A forgotten dumpster in the alley next to the university overflows with Kex Choklad wrappers from the younger gentlemen living upstairs. This led to a widespread campus rage and protests against food packaging, which the dumpster organized itself. It said, "I'd rather be obsolete and empty than be treated like this."
Astrology, romantic math. Sports hall designed for children without a roof but with some chairs and more than 5 edges. It's 8 or 9. It's 3-dimensional through with a shiny sticky surface that the sun reaches every 9 seconds. The walls contain something else. A hard material, they are made of crashed cars. All you hear in this red hall without any roof is the story of those people's teeth that are left over in the crumbled cars.
Weather. Thursday, 7th of November. The horizon changes often. If you blink, you might miss it.
Scene 2. The space between us and the stage provides us with a pale landscape. A one-legged salt tower rises. It points towards a graveyard among the clouds that houses new parrots parroting new words. This is a place from which any and every place is thought. Nothing happens here. It is a stage for comedians. Jokes on this stage are for the people in the back row, but mostly for the people in the shop and on the other side of the street, selling cigarettes, candies and water bottles. It's about distance and projection.
Dear Miss Ashby, when I try to talk, my face cannot move. The voice comes from inside of that little ding-a-ling-a-ling that is hanging at the back of my throat. It sings about kittens in a tiny voice. It wants to get out, but has accepted the fact of staying or dying. Yours, hopefully, Kevin.
Dear Kevin, those are the choices you have, stillness or death. The ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling is nothing on its own, then it is just a ding. Yours, Miss Ashby.
Dear Miss Ashby, could I be longing for a wash, a comb, a horizon, or could it just belong there? Sincerely, Doug.
Dear Doug, the couch does not question its being there. Following, Miss Ashby.
Economic headlines, a bloody, rich mess. The constant flow of menstrual bread and butter from the sons to the grid comprises of previously unseen derivative for a financial model to provide steady cash flow. The bloody grid calculates the incalculable and manifests its precise lack of destiny over a confidence ellipse predicting highly monthly returns based on non-reproduction.
Riddle of the week. Nothing is more abundant than this little piece of material right in front of something unseeable from the place someone sits.
Zinkenstein says, dancing is perhaps not interested in futurism, its presence anchored in the past. What about endings if it's following something? It's a triangulation of sender, receiver, and what is in between them that people end up writing about. Image, European, Splace Agency, stars focus that way into Foot Soul's Flesh.
I am an open landscape, falling apart at the seams. I have big muscles that do nothing, and I believe in eternity, in every fold stretched out. With the help of resistance and the smell of detergent lingering in my fascia, I fill my lungs with air to fill my life with words. Words that weigh nothing. Spinning ligaments into darkness, a rabbit hole of wonders, in layers and layers of fog, foggy, pink pulse beats pounding. Over 2 big moons in a wound of glitter. My spine is a minefield, and you're walking on it. The further away you go, the more your skin tightens around me. This statue can only exist with effort. The structure is pushed to its limits, the bark is cracking. No, the cracks are barking like angry dogs. They're rotten, but we keep them. All my skin cells fall off, like snow. It's a melancholic Rothko, and I can't throw myself any harder at this thing, this anvil, failing as it molds into a flow. My vision is a grid of gaps. I'm defined by all the things that I don't know. Once in a while though, maybe there's just no turning back. We could fit more, but right now it's not important. Because we are the future, 0 carbon, no footprint, our biofabric releasing. am an open landscape, falling apart at the seams. I have big muscles that do nothing, and I believe in eternity, in every fold.
So many empty zooms.
Gushing period of
Maybe I could make a makeshift desk out of books.
Imagine being in Reykjavik.
Should I stay or should I go now?
Everywhere I look, props.
Combat rock?
Door splitting my brain hemispheres.
Entertaining with Kate Stewart.
I got gold chains between my toes, my tippy-tip toes, my tippy-trippy toes.
The place is draft-proofed, but cold.
Remembering what this muddy used to feel like.
I could wind the grandfather clock up if I wanted to.
Losing track of trust in the method.
Flinging the duvet forward in abandon.
17.5 degrees on the thermostat.
Scratching away on the pineapple pie stomach.
Gathering the wind and chopping the walls.
Acknowledging the scientific lingo of free speech.
My granny has a penned list of important telephone numbers hanging on the wall in a frame.
Doctor, electrician, plumber, locksmith.
Tinkering.
What's that shit when banana peels get grey? Like, not the green, the yellow, or the black, just the grey. Ain't that some fucked up GMO sad shit?
Doubting choices.
Sinking 3 floors deeper through touch in what might be called somatic despair, or looks like listening to the wooden floor.
Ornate.
Objects.
Unnecessary.
Like dance.
Slipping the finger and giving the salute to the lads.
I repeat, because I drink tea.
Circles hands to face.
Sending it wide.
Gouging, rumble.
Self-touch.
Solace.
Pink dandelions as adored Duncan fabrics.
Can I curl up in the nook of my own arm?
Laptop and dead birds.
I remember the moment from the UK election last year. Stormzy, vocally anti-Tory, and called Boris Johnson a waste man. Later he visited a school and a little boy, maybe 6 years old, with a cute East London accent, asked Stormzy, "Why do you call Boris Johnson a waste man? The waste man comes every Wednesday and does a good job."
Killing it with punishing axes.
I feel like crumpled laundry.
Step ball change.
Deserted maypoles.
Floating over a dusty golden horizon in my vision and my fingertips.
I can climb the stairs in this studio.
Rolling in on a barbell like, shit, my back hurts.
I feel hungover from teaching.
Staircase set.
Or maybe drunk.
They left here unfinished, still groping towards something. It's not, and never will be, known.
A summer's night sunset on a cloudy May Day.
There's a bird roosting in the chimney. I'm sure of it.
Dirty, dirty, dirty balls of light.
All sorts of blue mascara.
A Vitruvian volcano in my doorframe.
Riding up the immediate.
Emergency lions.
Green crosses.
Two auto caps lock Y, Izzy, from spinning.
A peephole.
Massaging my brains into a puddle where the breath tides may flow.
Trailer bones.
On the square.
Sticky hand on glass.
I love thinking about how my body is mostly empty space. If I could only think one thought again for the rest of my life, it would be that one.
The expectant letterbox.
Maybe Mars lies between the skin of my kneecaps and the fabric of my pants. Maybe Jupiter lies nested between the hairs of my armpits. Maybe Venus lies between my eyebrows. Maybe.
Swinging between the roots and the net swing. Chasing the air of darkness, going through the void without realizing. Only years later you remember. The touch opens up a crack where magma of suppressed love and pain flows now freely. Get me the fuck out, but never let me go. 1, 2, 1, 2. First there is Trump, then abortions, and then death. Followed by scrambled eggs and some oral sex on a Sunday afternoon. It is going to be a bumpy ride. Put your garbage bag on, baby. Baby, baby is coming through the computer. It is not the right time, but the right pace, speed. Wow, this is bad. Smells like shit.
Found you in a corner, waiting to happen in yesterday's assemblage for nothing in particular.
Pleasure pops in to say hi. I mean, she's always there, right? Just not always being tapped in the right way.
Did you say history? Because I thought you were a mystery, LOL, right there in the corner of my mind, in the corner of my bind, and 1,000 tiny messages on the wind winding down for another person's sake. If not my own or yours, maybe the seasons change is the reason.
So...
Pushing my left shoulder blade into a wall. A stem of an aloe vera plant breaks. Hanging sideways from an upward edge. Cowboy hat tumbles in my bed.
Spreading along the keys. Noticing the dust. The things I want to attend to. Plants that want watering, moving, dust to be blown away, cobwebs around the crest of my hip.
Warming creaturity. Everything turns red because cars, cats, clothes.
Sourcing through deeply cleansed and tired skin, the depth is thick and chewy. I sink into it with my narrow teeth, strong and hard.
She wondered if ever there would be an answer from the dungeons of delight, and heard a train passing in 100 stormy nights.
Giving time and giving up.
Maybe it's a shame that I don't have another instrument. I wonder if it would be worthwhile, extravagance, to get a computer just for writing, to calibrate the ergonomics and place it into a room with no windows. This is an early draft of a short poem called Procrastination. But an instrument, something with only the one singular use. When I sit down to it, I let myself be called by one thing instead of my laptop where I answer the call of absolutely everything and nothing.
Joy of joys. Toys for the body to play with in self-accepting explorations. A slightly autistic approach to details. A hand, rubbing, knees. This pattern on the legs. Full. Tuning in and turning up any vague desire that I might have between these breath of peanuts. 1847-13 from Adam. My feet stink. They really smell, like vinegary. You forget to smell your feet now when you don't dance as much as you used to. I thought dancers were more prone to stinky feet. Apparently, it's dancers in quarantine.
Tiny hairs sensing the breeze, flick me, reminding me.
There is rhyme and reason in the forms I should repeat, if I should repeat that everything is just a mirror of another form. My typo said first another form, maybe, that was misshapen, but Freudian. We don't have to call him don't have to name him still, do we?
Too hesitant, and it multiplies into 2 times twan. It becomes a double, a body double. The keyboard is my second body, and it is a slow one, but one can erase mistakes in time.
I tumble and fumble and fumble. Whoops.
The touch of my keyboard is matte. It's slightly more shiny on the letter F and the letter J. The shelf at the bottom of F and J are my resting points. The light beneath them unnecessary.
Could we also not have to see me in a feeling of your PP? What an asinine, churlish, and subordinate find. Let's wind this down a notch and see what's under the speed of this absurd notion of freedom. Shall we?
Dust.
And then now what? Too many Dota, apparently.
The typing is my favorite part, often. When I'm trying to prime the pump of words onto compositions, I generally think about the pleasure of typing, leaving out the task, vocation, labor, intimidation, audacity, boredom of writing. Typing feels good on the fingers. The only time most days that I notice I have a body at all.
Smoke.
Wonder if one could simulate a hanging, not the deaf kind, the dance kind. Or maybe it's the same thing.
A very full bladder.
Tripping across the scales and speeds, leaving the surface, the sticky edge of front.
Ease.
Ease.
Give me a call, catch your own eye, or it'll fall. This heat is bearable, more bearable than just tolerated. Bearable as in I can take it in so far that it changes me from the inside. Is it okay to just redefine words for aesthetic, poetic purposes? Like okay as in blah blah blah.
Glow frame, fuzz, garden, bugs, blue, lock, flock, lambs, grain, lanes. Pesticides have been banned for use in residential gardens in France. Innocent, ignorant warnings. Hi. Load. Mainly trying, thank, take, lake, running low, dry as a snake, falling, waking at dawn, regarding the rerun. Let's restart. Lay it out bare. On the ground, funnel those thoughts into the soil. Loyalty cards for trees. Hug my coffee. Freedom flyers, fighters, flee. Trembling leaves, dancing with the bugs.
Jeez, Louise, my feels are not at ease.
That word courage always comes up in silence. Is it speaking in tongues or is it like a tick? I'm not sure. Do I believe in voices?
Like voices.
Charles E. Front Bum came up on Zoom again.
100 is another one. 100, like hounds.
Am I talking to you?
No, we couldn't, because the sun is burning fingers off from the keyboard. Is it even called keyboard? The alphabet, the language, the fonts that are not a song, but that is a song.
The weight of my hair is less than it used to be. It just doesn't weigh down. It more rains down. There's no Alanis Morissette going on.
Factitious fictive.
That one is about rhythm.
It's percussive.
Dandelion embrace.
I let you all pour in through my eyes.
Groping with permission towards finding the last thought that's been hanging around for some time. It's sitting just upon the cheek of my best friend. He allows me to touch it, but not yet remove. It begins to make sense of its own timing. I respect that, mostly.
Wish I could read as fast in a car. 44 miles an hour for £44,000. You'd have thought it would go faster, but it overheated and Drew had to start sharing his stuff to let it work.
1850-35 from Season Butler. I thought that QWERTY would be a cool name for a character in a novel. Then I thought it would be stupid. Then someone I respect and have a crush on told me it sounded cool. But some other author got there first, and I think they even won an award. Which is fine.
Movement follows tension. Tension follows a movement. Signature blotches of thick tracked triangulations. Going for the vernacular, eh? Penny Hardaway carrying a block of trickle-down voodoo sonic tectonics. The couch. The couch! What ho, ye revelation, ye couch that seats. What ho? Ouch! There goes my back. It's back again. A 16-year-old brace face wearing a body brace, surrounded by a world of chiffon. The sound of a point, shoe softening, a clobbering.
The twins that are not the same. The body double gone wrong that no one wanted. But it is here now, and we're dealing with it like this, I guess.
I'm top and center. Is everyone else their own top and center?
A space that cramps and opens, the details for my eye, the textures in all the meetings, the things and all the time. There's a creak in the 9th vertebrae and a stickiness between my hip and my lower rib, sweeps and arcs between eyes and touch, all to way in which to play, the familiarity of a game.
Really lie, tea, rhyme, light, lipe, lymphoma return, psychologology, mean rut, tomb, ache, canal, channel, fuck, to, flannel, what's up with you, looking, refer learning, prepaid fun, policy meet, extra, rave, round, mind, copying, promisability, you, me, you, I see, let Crete plant these histories, Tory mornings, Moorish, tourists, goat, house, societal, now lounge gaps. Ha, fully stop rock the cat shit Casper, bay treat down to floor, turn over, cost new, return maker, like kind in money felt inside the interspatial placeholder. Okay, free me. This kind light, practiced and seen you me, right inside flight, make it count, kite, right, really right, like Paris burning style, finally not mine. Some their insect insider, Kim. Interesting these tubes, they lead to love, I wouldn't worry about it. With other following words, you'll find another mean meaning outside this hidden freak constament. You at the pieces are there to lost trace of a childhood deck, tourist and tormented, for a fire drill practice, a new bodily condition.
If I could choose a superpower, I'd choose car fast reading every time.
Is it raining yet?
I keep you behind a white screen in order to keep me safe.
And
Jumping Scotch. Scotch is jumping through fences, fencing the wild dog. Do good things and heaven will grant you wishes. Wishing away, wishing you were here. Here your lung, longing for a touch down there. There isn't dating no more, or maybe not. Or not, it's not yet. Yeah.
Class!
Thinking of something I wanted to remember but not wanting to interrupt the moving into writing.
Haunting, like a word that rhymes with counting but relates more to ghosts.
My topless neighbour.
writing the charge of my fingers over my overcharged body, dancing through the charge and into this.
Wish I had a topless neighbor.
It's hard to get over bouncing.
Courage, sundry winds. Those 3 phony modules always swing back around.
Only silly dance adjectives. Gotta spill those out and over the situation. The space-time splaction.
No words. No words. A moment of no words. How to push them through. How to coax them.
Not stopping things. That was it. To just not be in the way of things that are already there.
Your hair is growing out.
Waiting for the rest of me.
A thick wave is slowly sinking from between my eyebrow and the back of my head to what is hopefully the heels of my feet. Dizziness from piss or dizziness from whiz, I don't know.
Wondering about lenses and frames all of a sudden.
As my hair grows out.
Treating my dryer with respect rather than annoyance.
A thick wave between.
The aesthetic logistics of no fucks left to give.
My body has so much water right now.
Call me Ishmael. Some years ago, never mind how long precisely, having nothing in particular to interest me on shore, I thought I would sail about a little and see the watery part of the world. It is a was I have of driving off the spleen and regulating the circulation.
What a sigh of relief.
Shimaranda.
No fucks right to give.
This time it was like a body falling slowly and dancey times falling over.
Ribcage, diaphragm, singing.
Never been so stiff by water.
Relief.
Thought it was fluid.
On shore.
Guess it might be ice.
On shore.
Negative place.
On shore.
Off.
Little did I know about the cat, but I saw it.
This sits bones idea. Autocorrected as sight bones idea. It makes all the sense in the world now. Thank you, machine.
Hissed.
Hissed.
Epist.
Like frost. Everything I touch turns to ice.
Bone sight.
Whenever I find myself grim about the mouth, whenever it is a damp and a drizzly November in my soul, whenever I find myself bringing up the rear of every funeral I meet, and especially when my hypos get such an upper hand of me.
This machine rests when I rest.
Keeping leverage towards my 3-dimensional back, and even though I'm looking front now and everything has flattened.
I had a moment lying on my bed, quivering.
Noticing what is here in this room that I am in so many hours of the day. Circling without seeing. Digging pathways into the floor with the repetition of my feet. Eyes posing over surfaces without tasting them.
Toes are touching like my lungs aren't.
Shouting children in the silence under my fingernails.
That it requires a strong moral principle to prevent me from deliberately knocking people's hats off.
This morning I woke up to a dream about balls in my face, and I liked it a lot.
Are these words her words? Why can't words occur? A nerd, easy, slowing, fancy, slow, pro, lemito, canvassing. Shall I choose this? Free mic, little mini crate, fight, min, hin, left, unfin, pre-tantalized, whimsical, timidly, new pressure, eyes, ooh, two, toothless, cake. Be this another rancid little light naked child, lewd, fresher, food. Okay, here's my friend Kay, Simon, shaman, still play, ranty, fake. Are we?
Bubbling and fermenting a bowl of fascia fluid.
Then I account it high time to get to sea as soon as I can.
Guys, I'm going to leave now because I have my clown studies course last day also today. It just started at 6:30. I usually go late there at 7, but we're sharing stuff and I feel bad to arrive that late.
Temper, pepper, bent, mod, cropped, old, cowering wails sorrow's sour sail, juddering edge, lending a space to a repressed feeling. Crouched on the arm of the sofa, langs like a paper lantern. Crushed salt, sliced apple, wear, tear, snared, limp wholly, a cavity of hope.
Love, 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 everyone.
Until next time, Triple X.
Bye!
Stitches of small intestines follow me up the trail to the mountains. They stick to me over every edge, and no matter how long I break, they won't leave me. By now, after weeks of walking, I'm finally starting to get used to them. I give them names now. The long, itchy one I call Bruce, just because Bruce is the kind of name someone famous would have. The two short, identical ones I call Linda and Sarah. That's the name of my two cousins who are both into cars. And the last one, the really long, winding one, which I never seem to really grasp, I call Lynn, from the first friend that broke up with me. By now we are a group, wandering the mountains, trying to get somewhere, or at least get rid of each other. Bruce and Lynn are becoming friends. It doesn't surprise me at all, but it does make me feel even more lonely.
Good evening. Welcome again. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming, and thank you for staying. Hi. We're going to do something now called re-mything. That's re as in like to do again, maybe revise. Myth like mythology, a story that kind of produces belief. Ing, we're doing it. Ing, doing, transitive verb. We're gonna do it. Re-mything. So this is a game invented by Mohn, who's a dancer who worked with this project. And she created it actually because she was missing dancing together with people. And so this is a way of somehow creating sense collectively in the ways that she missed from dancing together with people. And it's a really simple game. The structure is really, really simple, but sometimes, you know, the simplest rules afford the most complex outcomes. Doesn't take a lot to get together. So the simple rules are we speak one utterance at a time. We are going to decide what we're going to tell a story about. So we choose a topic first. Let me go in linear time. Let me go in order. We choose a topic. We choose something that exists that we are going to re-myth together. Something that everybody just believes exists. Something very given. And then we're going to construct a new story about why it exists or how it came to be. One person adding one utterance at a time. And an utterance could be a word or a few words, a phrase, a sound, a noise, a movement. And we're just going to read what one person at a time says and track it in our listening to build this story together. And when we're all finished, anybody in the room at any moment in the weaving of this new myth can say the end. Just decide when we've arrived at the story. Anybody can do that. Anybody. And then when we're done, when someone in the room has decided it's over, it's complete, we all have pencils and pens and papers. There's some blank spots around those papers. You are all invited to write down what you remember the story to be. So there's a collective oral history we're going to create, and then we're all going to have remembered it slightly differently, and that's perfect. Each individual memory being different is also the fun part. So you're not trying to be right on the exam. You make it your own when you write it. And then whoever wants to share their story can share their story. Their written version of so the scribe's version of the oral myth of the what? What are we gonna remyth? We're gonna bounce it around here, and at any moment when someone on this side of the room decides to pass it over here, it'll move along this way and up and around. And then if it's still going, it'll come back into our group and we'll send it back around and then up and around. And if it's still moving, it'll come back. But then we can't be here all night, so let's not do that too many times, because then we won't have time to write it down. I think that's all the rules. Is it clear? Are we good? What are we going to remyth? Oh, yes, thank you. If you don't hear somebody, because this mic is going to go away, we'll do our best to speak up. If you can't hear somebody, use this gesture. So yeah.
And if you don't want to talk, you pass.
Exactly. If you don't want to talk, you can just pass it on to the next person. We can use common sense gestures. What's common sense? Oh God, that's an assumption. Whew. Okay, so what shall we remyth? Does anybody have something they want a new story about? It could be anything, but it should be something that's like real. That's like maybe, this needs a rewrite. This needs a revision. This could use a new history, a new myth. Care?
Why we stop growing.
Why we stop growing? What? Care? Why we stop growing? Anything to add? Maybe we can combine those two things. I think they make a nice combination.
Why do we care about us stop growing?
Why do we care? Exactly. So care and why do we stop growing? How do those two things? Maybe we're going to remyth the relationship between care and why we stop growing. I already did it in my head. Let's go.
Fortresses
in a faraway land that starts with the letter
S.
Because S
happens to be at the end of this alphabet.
Except now,
this alphabet
got lost.
in 1980.
I sent an email
To myself and my sea turtle.
and my
Future anxieties.
because that day someone told me kittens only grow when they sleep. Kittens.
And they only sleep after eating spinach.
Which I couldn't spell without the letter S.
Unfortunately, the spinach was really
Bitter.
Just like,
Repeat.
Bitter.
just like kitten fur.
But I digress. I wanted to tell you about... I digress. I wanted to tell you about
Care. Scare.
Care. Scare.
Scare.
So now I'm going through my emails since 1980.
And I realized I'm short.
And I care about that I'm short.
And won't probably grow anymore. Because I'm short. Because I'm short. I said, trying to overcome my shortcomings, which I know does not really contribute to anything, so I do this happy dance. I learned that from
My dog.
What?
My dog.
My dog. My dog, oh my God.
We're both searching for a lost alphabet.
In their email inbox.
That was called. No one? No one wants to go. No. Okay. Someone upstairs? Email box that was called.
Conundrum.
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 Have fun. Or
The end. And now we write 2.5 minutes. 2 minutes and 45 seconds. What you remember.
starting now. Fine. While you're cheating, can I start? Alright. Life is short and so are we. Because life is short and so are we. Obsessions with dimension has led to the extinction of sea turtles because, they're tasty. Not like kitten fur, which is bitter. Growing stops when you forget the S and S in stars and fail to see beyond your happy dance. The alphabet never lies. Kill them with kindness and emails.
Conundrum. To grow is a conundrum. Not by eating spinach, or I care to care. I think I'm still growing things.
1,000 fortresses ago, in a land starting with S, there was a lost alphabet that ended with the letter S. Sounds, spinach, cares, caresses, scare, and sleep were all impossible to spell without this alphabet. And so the kittens stopped growing, because kittens only grow when they sleep. So then I had to search my inbox since 1980 for a folder called Conundrum, because that was the only inbox folder I had without the letter S. I was in a stupor trying to save the sleeping kittens, looking for an email I sent to my sea turtle and my future anxieties about being short, coming up short, until I decided it's okay not to grow, because nobody cares how tall you are.
In the 1980s, I was in Borneo. I don't know what happened. Kanapabam, Konarno, Corn, Sky, Cook Pie, Tie and Lie, films that cry themselves, stop growth of the rental shelf as it stops at the letter in the salsa bet. You probably won't know it due to your lack of growth, short turn inside pout. Anyone from the audience who wants a turn?
Thousands of emails ago, 1980, there was short ideas on how to grow faster. Why do I care so much about growing? Why do I grow so much about caring? I still haven't got an answer, but I can show you this happy dance that my dog taught me.
Doing my happy dance in an old fortress, I come to think of my dog, why I started writing emails, and what any of this has to do with me only being able to sleep after eating spinach. This 1980s digression unfortunately reminds me only of my shortcomings.
The email box that was called Conundrum was in fact also a recipient, a sender, and a huge load of old anxiety. Imagine it like a time capsule, now filled with rotten spinach. It can't be older than a week, said Lydia.
The S was lost. The sea turtle took it because he craved spinach, and he didn't care how long. Email inbox.
Can you guys hear okay up there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
The email inbox has been full since the 1980s, misspelling the alphabet. There, hair, spare, there, fair, never care. growing, all grown up, and now.
In a land of 1,000 fortresses, the letter S had gone missing. I searched for it through my inbox, but didn't find it, so instead I sent an email to myself, my sea turtle, and my future anxieties, filled with my own shortcomings. My inbox had been growing since 1980, but I was still short and bitter. Kittens growing this week, but I, alas, do not.
The email box was a kitten conundrum, but I digress. More bitter now than kitten fur in the inbox from the early 80s. Care, scares, and lemur bears, we write to our future anxieties, and said we were short. And so I do this comfort dance that I learned from my dog on this dog day afternoon. The 1,000 fortresses are short.
I'm short and I don't care about it, but maybe I should since my inbox in my mail of conundrums said I should. A lot of stuff was talked about, including bitter kittens and my dead sea turtle from 1980 that gave me future anxiety. But try this happy dance I learned from my dog.
The end? Postscriptum, epilogue, nobody didn't get their word in? Okay. We are satisfied, we are complete, more than complete. Let's pack up this floor and get out of here. Thank you so much for sticking around.